Hi, and welcome to an episode of Box Office QBs. This is Nerd Shit Edition to the Core. We are doing another video game episode. I know we said we would do more of these, and I think we've actually done one or maybe two. So we're going to work toward doing more of these. And with me is my good friend, former coworker, Payton. I was about to say San Antonio Payton for some reason, but we work together in San
I'll go with
Antonio
that.
and in Seattle. And for the first time, I think ever, Box Office Quarterbacks is actually being recorded with more than one host, and then both are actually in the same city. I'm like pretty sure because Jeff is in
Wow.
Albuquerque, Eric's in Dallas, Ahmed's in Houston, I'm up here in Seattle. And before we had Ryan, who was like in Cleveland and in Baltimore at one point. So I think this is the first time we're doing it in the same city, and
That's
we're
pretty
not
cool.
even doing it in the same apartments. But it's kind of mainly
That's
because I
funny.
don't know
Yeah.
how to record two mics on one computer, and I don't feel like finding it out.
Well, it's like we got so used to pandemic stuff, we don't know how to do stuff when you're in the same room anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
Like
it's so
same
much
room makes it
easier to just
awkward.
do it this way. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't have to actually look at you. I just look at the camera the whole time. I'm just kidding. But
Aw.
what we're
I'm
actually here to
looking
talk
right into
about.
your eyes.
Oh, that's really cute.
Yeah.
Not as cute as the Spider-Man hanging on the side on the back of your screen back there, or the two
Uh,
hanging on the back of mine, because Spider-Man 2 is what we're here to actually talk about today. The video game Sony will be releasing this October. We've seen some gameplay footage. We've seen and heard a few different things. Just what you've played the game a few times, Peyton, especially and recently, from what I remember.
yeah. I actually
So
just finished a playthrough of the first game, my third playthrough, because first of all, I'm like the kind of person who's like, I can't like it's so hard for me to play a new game when there's something I really like. I end up just like falling back into it over and over again. So I'm like a huge fan of Spider-Man just in general, like movies, comic books, video games. So yeah, I just recently played a new game. It's like it's like one of those games I'm so worried. Like I'm sure it's gonna be good, but at the same time I'm like, there's such a high bar, you know? Yeah, it has a really high bar for a game like the is this a spoiler free, like, could we
yeah,
say spoilers or
spoilers for the first two, and then like we can talk about any confirmed things. I'm
yeah,
gonna try to stay away from unconfirmed leaks as much as possible,
yeah.
but yeah,
Well, I was gonna say it's just like it's such a great, like it's such an emotional, like great story, like with the ending
hmm
with Aunt May dying and with Doc Ock. So I think like there's high bar is so high, but I think they're gonna do. I think it's gonna be great, and it has my favorite villain in it in Venom. So very excited about that.
I am excited about Venom. I'm worried about what it might be because from what I have read is that it was described as it's going to be Venom is a playable character in the sense that MJ or Miles were playable characters in the first one. And if that's the case, I'm thinking we're going to get one or two missions with him, maybe a few side ones, where he is possibly either like helping or trying to attack Spider-Man. Because you know how Venom kind of like borders that line
Yeah.
sometimes, where he's not really helping Spider-Man, but he's getting something out of the way. Um,
Well,
so I
that's
mean, I could see.
interesting that it would be, because I feel like if it's Venom, you're not going to really be. It's not going to be the same as like MJ or Miles, where it's like a stealth mission. I feel like it would be different. Although I don't know if you ever played the Ultimate Spider-Man game back in the day. That one you could play as Venom, and that was also really cool, where you could
Mhm.
eat people. So that would be,
Yeah.
it would be awesome if you could run
But I
around
am
eating.
excited to see Peter Parker's Venom abilities because holy hell,
Yeah,
what we saw was just not nice to those people in the gameplay footage that we saw just a few. It's actually been a little bit longer than a month now, right? But that gameplay
yeah.
footage was insane, right?
Right. And I'm hoping, and I think we're seeing from this is I think that they're going to do a really good job of exploring Peter with the symbiote, because I feel like we've I haven't really seen a good adaptation of that, really. I
Mhm.
mean, you have the Rami Spider-Man, which is
Yeah,
like iconic, but like maybe not for the quite the right reasons. And I think Spectacular Spider-Man the cartoon did it okay. There's also, of course, the original '90s Spider-Man cartoon with the shocker, I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. Um, but I'm interested to see like a more like serious, like dark version of like Peter on the symbiote, and we saw kind of glimpses of that with his what is it he says, he's like uh
I got teeth or
Miles.
something like that. Me
Oh yeah,
too.
Miles says that he has sharp teeth, and Peter says so do I.
You sure? He's got big teeth. So do I.
Yeah, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I'm excited to see that because I did like that is another thing that we've heard so far is that it's supposed to be a darker story, which
Hmm.
is kind of intense considering the first one did kill off Aunt May.
Yeah.
Like that's like for Spider-Man fans, that's a pretty big like that's a pretty dark story, right?
Hmm.
Like you're killing off the like this like just everything that is for Peter. Because like
And
he
it's a
loses MJ all the time. He's lost Gwen and he gets over it. But losing Aunt May would have been and has always been like the ultimate he never wanted.
it's a bold choice too, because like at that point, I don't know that we had really had an Aunt May death, like a major death. Uh, we ended up getting it in No Way Home, which came out after. And then in the comic books, I think eventually, I think she's like still alive in the comic book. She's like always alive and kicking, which is like, yeah, it
Yeah.
is kind of interesting. Like she's like the one character that never dies. Um,
Except in adaptations.
yeah, but like, but for the most part, like it's always like Gwen Stacy, Uncle Ben. So that was like kind of a big moment. I think it could have inspired No Way Home as well. Um, I think though the biggest thing that people are wondering, talking about Venom, is who is Venom going to, like they're clearly going a different route. They've already said it's not going to be Eddie Brock like it is in the comics. I think a lot of people are thinking it's going to be Harry. We know that at least that's where the symbiote starts from, is like that
Hmm.
it's Norman is using it somehow to cure Harry's disease. So either it's going to go from Harry to Peter and back to Harry, or I don't know.
Actually, fuck it. I am going to talk about theories because I do what I want. I guess it's our show. Um,
Yeah.
my favorite theory is that, like you said, it goes like it starts with Harry, somehow gets to Peter, and while Peter is seeing outside using it and becoming a malicious Spider-Man, I guess, or some shit. That's when Norman Osborn becomes a little suspicious and hires Craven the Hunter to come track
Hmm.
him down and get the Venom symbiote back, and also take out Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And during that is whenever somehow Venom gets onto someone else, I guess, at some point, and
I've
maybe we
uh
get a Harry Osborn Hobgoblin. That was a
I've
very interesting theory I liked.
I've heard some theories of like the symbiote going to Norman and Norman being Venom,
Mm.
and then Harry becoming the Green Goblin, or even Craven becoming Venom, which is kind of like plays on the comic Craven's Last Hunt, where he tries to become Spider-Man and he ends up wearing his own version of the black suit.
Mm.
Um, and so that could be interesting. I'm totally open to them doing something like totally different. I feel like Eddie Brock would kind of just be random just because we haven't really met him, so it would be cool to have it, you know, be someone that it's established with. I think it probably just would make the most sense, like narratively, for it to be Harry. Um, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think it would, but also these guys have done a really good job with all their stories so far, both of their stories
Yeah,
so far. So I do trust that they are going to give us whatever they give us will be fantastic. The biggest question for me, and I don't know, um, it's just the game is supposed to be huge, right?
yeah,
But like, I want to know how much time we're spending between each Spider-Man. Which one's getting more time? Which one's getting more of the main story? Because one of them's for sure going to be like the obvious side character, right?
yeah. I mean, I feel like you kind it almost has to be Miles, just because like there would be so much more you'd have to develop there. I just don't know that he has as much story. I am interested to see how they do like the two like switching. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
that apparently there's going to be like missions that you only do as Miles, missions that you only do as Peter, or missions where you can switch back and forth or play as either one. Um, so almost kind of like a Grand Theft Auto 5 kind of situation.
Yeah,
Which I'm interested in. But to see how they're going to balance that, it's kind of something that's a little bit different. You don't do that too often, especially not in a superhero video game.
yeah.
Um, so we'll see how that works. And then I think the other cool thing is going to be like I've always liked the way they do the skills and like abilities that you like earn as you go. So like seeing how they're going to split those up. Are they going to have, because we know, Miles has like different powers than Peter with like his invisibility and his venom powers. And then I guess Peter's going to have his symbiote powers. So it seems like this is going to be a huge game, like with, I mean, like lots of stuff into it. Like it's a pretty bold, big game that we're talking about here.
It's freaking huge. And two other things I was worried. Two other things I wanted to talk about actually, and I'm going to throw a wrench through that rundown I sent you because I don't even
That's
remember it.
fine. I'm not even really paying
But
attention.
there were two theories I wanted to talk with you about. That apparently this game is also going to set up two things. It's going to pay off the Into the Spider Verse
Oh
movie.
yeah,
So spoilers on Into the Spider Verse. PS4 Spidey's in it. Apparently there's a way they're going
yeah,
to pay it off, and then also apparently they're going. This game is supposed to set up Marvel's Wolverine game set to come out to next gen consoles, I believe,
that's
next
true.
year. So like how do you feel about Spider-Man kind of being used to do that now? Or how do you feel about Spider-Man? I guess maybe them even trying to interact with their whole movie universe at the same time. Like, it's kind of crazy, right?
Um, so with the Wolverine, I'll start on the Wolverine game first. I think that that's going to be just fine. Like they've already sort of established it in the first game, mostly through like Easter eggs and stuff. That there are other superheroes, like they have the Avengers Tower, they
Mm-hmm.
have they have Doctor Strange's whatever his thing, his fortress
Yeah,
is.
I know what you're talking
I don't know
about.
Doctor Strange. I can't remember what it's called.
I
It's
can't
called
remember what
something
it's
like
called
that.
now anymore, but yeah, the Wizard's Dungeon is what I remember
But so
from
like I
Ned.
think that that's gonna be fine. I think maybe like that could even be something that's like kind of like in like a post credit scene to kind of set up um the movie. That's a first I've heard about that here. So like, are you saying like they're gonna like find a way to like reference it? Oh, for some reason Siri
I
has decided to start listening.
no,
Sorry.
no, it's good. No, from what I read that it was more of a post credit scene.
Okay.
So, but like, if they do that, that's pretty interesting and cool. And I want to see how far they take that because are they going to start interacting all of their properties? Because once you in it, like you've already brought the video games into the movie, and now you're bringing the movie into the video game allegedly. And if
Yeah.
that's how, like, what's next, right?
I kind of wonder, what that's going to look like. So like the Spider-Man, the Insomniac Spider-Man is like it's just really a cameo in the Across the Spider-Verse. He just kind of like they're going through like all like their HQ of like all the Spider-Men, and everyone's kind of showing up, and the Spider-Man from the video game is there. So yeah, I think it would be cool to kind of like maybe it's just like an Easter egg of like, we but yeah, that's the thing is it's like he's in the movie, he's a part of the whatever they're called, the like Legion of Spider-Man or whatever.
Spider Society, I think, or some
Spider
shit.
Society. There we go. But like obviously that hasn't happened yet in the games. So is it just going to be an Easter egg kind of thing, or yeah, are they going to find some way to reference it? And I kind of don't know how or what that would even look like. Unless yeah, I guess
Yeah,
it could be like a post credit scene where like one of them from the game or from the movie shows up in the game. It's like, hey, come join our Spider Society.
yeah. But
That would be
also,
interesting.
let's get one thing straight. PS4 Spider Man is kicking every other Spider Man's ass.
Oh,
He
you mean like in a fight?
has, yeah,
Yeah.
like that man has like tools that are ridiculously smart. He has freaking drones that shoot for him. He takes bullets and throws people off and onto top of buildings. Like this man does whatever the hell he wants in the game.
Well, yeah, he is definitely one of like the strongest Spider-Man we've ever seen. Like, I mean, the whole game, like, he's just constantly
He
like he's not
regenerates
really
health.
taking a break. Yeah, he's regenerating health. He gets like a building dropped on him,
I mean, I know
and
it's kind of a silly thing, but like if you're bringing him into the other worlds, like these are things to account for.
Yeah, he's OP for sure. Um, no, yeah, no, I think Insomniac Spider-Man definitely is a winner, and if it's like a Spider-Man battle royale.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's about all I had to talk about. Do you have anything else you want to say about this game?
Well, just that, like, I kind of am wondering. So, like, the villains that we know are going to be in it are going to be Venom, Craven, Lizard. I feel like Yuri is going to show up as Wraith.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, totally.
and then I'm just wondering who else we're going to see. Obviously, we're going to see a few more.
I heard
Um,
Mysterio, I think, right?
That would be really cool. I think there kind of needs to be like that's why I think like villains like Electro and Rhino and Vulture worked in the first game because it's like you don't need like this deep backstory for them. Like you kind of get it. It's like, oh yeah, he's got electric powers. So someone like Mysterio who's super cool, but like we know that Peter has fought before to show up would be awesome. I would love Mysterio in the game. Like that was one of my favorite parts about the
Yeah. Also, I
Spider-Man
feel
2
like
movie game.
yeah, and I feel like Mysterio and what's it? Fuck, Scarecrow from Batman are two
Oh
characters
yeah,
you can have a lot of fun with when it comes to like horror and video games.
you really could. I
So
would
like,
do that.
anytime we can get that kind of what is it? Which Batman Arkham game is it? Whenever Scarecrow is like the huge like Scarecrow and
Oh,
Batman's running
that's
through the miniature houses.
Arkham
Um,
Asylum. Yeah,
Arkham Asylum and that one, like that one's one of my favorite missions of any game ever, right?
that's
Because
yeah.
it's just so
No,
much
that's
fun,
super
and
cool.
like I don't know if they would do it like that, but like I would love to see Mysterio doing that with Spider Man. You know?
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Um, I think like someone like Sandman would be really cool. Um, just because like I don't know, I feel like there could be a lot of fun like web slinging in that, like where he's giant, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and then I'm wondering, do you think because like at the end of the first game we see like a teaser to this game where we see the symbiote? I wonder I feel like the smartest thing to do would be like eh, looking forward to even a third game. Each game would have like Spider-Man's big three villains. The first one has Doc Ock, the second one has Venom. I feel like Green Goblin in the third game would be really cool. So, which I think if Harry's going to be Venom and like maybe he dies or something, like obviously I'm not spoiling anything because I have no idea. Um, and then that could be Norman's reasoning for becoming the Green Goblin, which we know he's probably going to because he has like all the bombs and stuff
Yeah,
in
and you
his.
don't keep Norman Osborn alive and healthy without making him the Green Goblin.
So I think maybe we could see that as like a teaser in this game going forward to the next one. It would be awesome to have the third game be Norman Green Goblin.
Yeah, absolutely would. But that's all we have for today, actually. Because I don't want to edit any more time.
Okay, fair enough.
but we're gonna. But also, I think we're also like there's just this game still has a few months to come out. We're still waiting on more gameplay footage and everything.
Yeah,
But once this game comes out, and did you already pre-order it?
I haven't pre-ordered it
Okay,
yet.
I'm gonna pre-order it soon, probably next month.
Yeah,
But when I pre-order this, we're gonna play it, and when we play it, we should both get on here and review and talk about this shit because
absolutely.
I'm absolutely hyped for this game. Um, I don't. I think the next thing that's gonna be published on Box Office Quarterbacks is the Barbie movie that Jeff says he's doing. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So yeah, this should be published on a Tuesday.
All right. See you on
Um,
Tuesday.
yeah, so everybody who's listening, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, Spotify, all that good stuff, and follow us on social media. For Payton, I'm Gerald, and have a good night.